Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Villa Park podcast. It's me, Rich, and I'm back with another transfer talk roundup show. Now, I did do one earlier, a bit of a special kind of analysing some players with Gareth earlier, so please do check that out. But I had to jump on this evening just to talk about, put to bed one of the rumours that's been doing the rounds, and a laughable bid for one of our players from a club that there's no way on this earth now he's going to sign for. But we'll get into that in a minute. Talk about one or two other outgoings and a couple of other players linked with Aston Villa. Before we get into it, though, please do hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Very, very close to 5,100 subscribers. We've hit that big 5K mark, on the road to 10K. Your support has been amazing these last few weeks, so please do continue, like, subscribe, and get your comments in. Now, Daniel Marlon is pretty much done. Obviously going to be doing a medical within the next sort of day or two. So we'll talk a bit more about him and what he can bring to Villa. There's been a few mixed reports in terms of Dortmund fans talking about him. His stats this season, we've been through it a couple of times on the transfer roundup shows about him kind of being a bit underwhelming and maybe needing a bit of a fresh start. But we'll talk about him tomorrow night on the fans forum, sort of / Everton preview, just to see, what we have got to look forward to, what he can bring to Aston Villa. But looks like it's done deal. Get the medical done. Get him with a picture, posing with the shirt, and then get him in the game, hopefully for Saturday against Arsenal. That would be great, wouldn't it? That would be a boost. So let's see what we can do. Now, in terms of this bid, the Jhon Duran, obviously we've talked about him a few times with regards to potential links to PSG and one or two other clubs, but it has turned out that West Ham put in a bid for him last week and potentially look to try and get him for £60 million. Now, West Ham were the club that came for him in the summer, but I think his stock has risen quite considerably. No disrespect to West Ham from them. Now he's sort of scored 12 goals in all competitions. And look, the likes of Paris Saint-Germain are looking at him. I imagine the likes of Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, all those clubs are probably looking at him because he's one of the hottest prospects in world football at the moment. So, look, he's going to take a hell of a lot more than 60 million to get Jhon Duran, and it's also going to take a bigger club, no disrespect, than West Ham to get his signature. And also Aston Villa have now come out and said he's absolutely not for sale in January. So I don't think he's going to go anywhere this window. Mawani looks like he's going to go to Juventus or Tottenham. So I guess that kind of trade deal is out of the water. And Aston Villa need time, and they need targets to go after if they're going to consider anything like a sale of Jhon Duran. So he's got a lot of playing to do for Villa this season. Can he hit that 20-goal mark in terms of all competitions this season? I think he probably can. And that will just increase his stock even further. So watch your space with him, but he's certainly not going anywhere this January window, and he's certainly not going to go to West Ham. And Arsenal as well. Some of the stuff that I've been putting out for Arsenal Fan TV, talking about sort of 30 million and things like that, being able to get him for. Come on. You're talking at least 80 million plus for Jhon Duran. Signed a contract extension. He's going to be one of the hottest properties, as I say, in world football. It's going to take a lot more than 30, 60 million to get him. So that's that put to bed. Now, a player who could be on his way and is attracting lots and lots of interest is Louie Barry. Unai Emery looking at him in training and seeing how he's progressing and seeing what we can do with him. But it's now turned out that Celtic have actually expressed an interest in signing him, potentially on a permanent deal as well. Now, Celtic, very, very, very big club. Obviously, Scottish Premier League champions, going to probably win it this season, playing in front of big crowds. Champions League club as well, doing well in the Champions League this season. We've got to face them in a few weeks' time. So that could be a huge move for someone like Louie Barry. And look, could potentially fetch some decent money as well for the club if he was to move on. Massive, massive club for him. We know Championship clubs are looking at him. Derby were interested. Millwall are interested. So there's lots of clubs looking at him. But Celtic is a different kettle of fish for someone like Louie Barry. But I still think there's something in him potentially appearing for Aston Villa this season. I really do. And I look at the likes of Kellyman and I look at the likes of Chukwuemeka, and I think Unai Emery might be weighing up the fact that he could potentially use him this season. And if he appears in the Premier League for Aston Villa, if he does well, if he scores 1 or 2 goals, or even just shows that he can cut it at this level, that increases his value by a good 5, 6, 7, 8, even 10 million. We looked at how much we got for Kellyman just for making 6 appearances for Aston Villa. Look how much we got for Chukwuemeka for making similar a number of appearances. If Louie Barry comes in, he's already banged in goals in League One. Yes, I understand it's League One. But if he makes 4 or 5 appearances for Aston Villa in the Premier League at the back end of this season, that will increase his value no end. So I wouldn't be surprised if he does stick around with Aston Villa. But a club like Celtic, you definitely have to take notice, and they would hopefully come in with a decent bid, and we can see where we go from there. But Louie Barry is one to watch with interest over this window. Now, Diego Carlos apparently is in advanced talks now with Fenerbahce. That looks like it could get done. And then we're looking at a centre-back maybe to come in and replace. We've obviously looked at a couple of options. We looked at it. We looked at one of the players from Sevilla that we were looking at on the video with Gareth, Louie Barry, who's wanted by Liverpool, Newcastle, and 1 or 2 other clubs. That could be a potential option from Seville. We looked at the big man from Bruges as well last night, so that could be an option as well. So, look, loads and loads of players that we could get in at centre-back, or Ordonez he's called. So that could be one to watch as well. And we know MENDEZ can play right back, can play right centre-back as well. So lots and lots of players to consider there if we can, shift someone like Diego Carlos. And it's also been talked about him potentially going on loan to Seville and Barde coming in as part of the deal plus money. So we'll see about that one as well. Let me know your thoughts in the comments on all of that, on Duran, on Louie Barry, on Diego Carlos. We can get some good money in, and obviously getting Marlon in and potentially getting rid of Jaden Philogene for a similar amount of money is crazy business, to be honest. Absolutely crazy business. Now, a couple of players have been linked with Aston Villa. We've seen them. The Oscar Mingueza deal looks like we're trying to get that one done, but it's been talked about if we can't get that done, then we could go in for Mark PUBILL, who is Spanish 21-year-old defender, played for Spanish under-21s, played for Spanish under-23s. He's currently at Almeria, where he's appeared 28 times and scored 1 goal. Previous to that, he was at Levante, went through the B team with 1 appearance in 19 games. Also then went into the first team, 1 goal in 39 appearances. As I say, 21 years of age, 6'3". If we take a look at his SOFA score, he's playing in La Liga B at the moment, so obviously slightly lower standard, but pretty decent player. Obviously, right back strength. They're looking at his ground jewels, can get up and down the pitch. As I say, young player, so maybe slightly unproven, maybe one more for the future. 12 starts in 17 games. Hasn't yet scored this season, hasn't yet assisted this season, created 1 big chance. 88% in terms of his accuracy, 83% across the full game, 70% in the opposition half, 1 clean sheet, 66% in terms of successful dribbles, so and mid-60s in terms of his total duels won and his ground duels won. So, look, I guess more one for potential and someone who might be able to make the step up. Whether you can go from La Liga 2 into the Premier League is another matter. But I think that we're looking at around about the 10 million euro mark for someone like him. Now, again, this could be a potential just looking at it in case the Mingueza one falls through. He could have been one of the names that we looked at that fits a profile of a right back that we might be looking for. Obviously, quite tall, quite rangy in terms of attacking, quite fast, and quite good at carrying the ball. So that seems to be the profile that we're looking for. But whether he could make the step up into the Premier League remains to be seen. But anyone who's seen him, anyone who knows a bit about him, let me know your thoughts in the comments. And the next player was MENDEZ of Real Sociedad. Now, 27 years of age, and represented Spain at all levels, from under 17s, under 18s, under 21s, and also in full cap, has 4 caps and scored 1 goal. Not since 2021, though, as he played for Spain. Has 81 appearances for Real Sociedad, scoring 15 goals, and also played for Celta Vigo, 153 appearances and 20 goals. So, look, being around an attacking midfielder, 6'2", maybe hasn't made any sort of real big move yet. But this could be potentially his time to come through. Now, again, looking at his SofaScore ratings, had a pretty decent season. Plays at midfield, central, attacking midfield, a playmaker, good at direct free kicks, also good at pressing. Operates on that right-hand side, but also across the pitch. Only started 12 games out of 15, so I don't know whether he's had a bit of an injury this season or loss of form. 2 goals he's scored so far this season, both from inside the box, one with his left, one with his right. 1 assist and 2 big chances created. Good passing accuracy, as always, for Spanish players. We know they're good technicians, 84% per game, 90% in his own half and 74% in the opposition half. In terms of tackling, 1.1 tackles per game, and ball recovery is 2.9. And then the kind of duels one in and around the 40%. So, as I was saying, more of a playmaker than a tackler and a kind of combative midfielder. But, someone who might be able to get on the ball for us, might be able to keep things ticking over, might be able to create. And myself and Gareth talked about a player who we may be looking at in terms of the summer. Someone who can create, against that low block that what people like to say, or can pick something out of nothing, or can play a quick 1-2, or can really take the ball in tight areas. We know the running power of Rodgers. We know the running power of Jacob Ramsey when he's fit. But have we got someone in that mould who can turn on a sixpence, who can play a little slide rule pass or something like that, other than, say, an Emi Buendia, but we're not quite sure where he's going to get to. Is he going to rediscover his form, or is he going to look for a move away? So that could be one for the summer. But again, let me know your thoughts in the comments on him. Is he someone who you would look at? Is he someone who we can consider? But that's it from me. Great news on Marlon. Duran, not for sale, and certainly not to West Ham. Get your thoughts in the comments on that. Barry to Celtic, could that be done? Diego Carlos to Fenerbahce and someone else in? Again, let me know your thoughts on that. We'll be back tomorrow for Fans Forum and for the Everton preview, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Obviously, match reaction to Everton, hopefully after 3 points, and then the full match reaction with the boys, match preview for Arsenal as well. So loads of shows to come. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, help us on the road to 10K. Get your comments in. Thank you for watching, and as always, remember, we'll follow the Villa.